They outnumber us more than 1 billion to 1. They're organized, fearless, and sometimes deadly. Tonight, a journey to extremes.
Oh my God.
In search of the scariest bugs on Earth. First, scorpions, biting ants, and black widow spiders. Which of these stingers inflicts the greatest pain? And what can scientists learn by sampling their venom? Then, the search for the ultimate swarm. Killer bees are on the move.
They killed, and they killed for no reason.
But for sheer destruction, meet the locust and join the search to discover what turns this into this. Plus, it's the ultimate attacker. A hornet so big it can decimate a hive of bees.
Look at there.
What happens when the giant hornets strike? From the deserts of Arizona to the swamps of Venezuela and into our own homes, join us for a new National Geographic adventure. Bug Attack.
Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamed of finding the planet's most awesome insects. My name is Phil DeVries, and bugs are my life. Now I've landed the ultimate assignment, to find the bugs that give us nightmares. And to learn what makes them such incredible survivors. Of all the insects on the planet, the ones that scare us most are the ones that sting.
Arizona, this is where the real hellraisers of the bug world live. Venom and pain, the tools of their trade. And I'm here to find them.
I'm on my way to the Southwestern Biological Institute in Tucson, Arizona, to meet a scientist who's been stung so many times, he's an expert. Dr. Justin O. Schmidt.
I was dubbed the king of sting because I developed a pain index for stinging insects. Basically, insects have a problem to eat and not be eaten, like we all do. And pain is a very good deterrent to keep a predator from attacking you.
And this is something you definitely don't want to do at home. Mom, I know you told me not to do this kind of stuff, but we've come up with a really novel test. I volunteered to become a guinea pig to test the Schmidt Pain Index. Actually, it hurts a little, but I still wouldn't try it at home. I can feel it getting a little hot and stingy around there, but you do this for a living?
Not with scorpions.
It's stinging a little bit more. You obviously can feel the penetration of the stinger, and it's not unlike getting stabbed with a needle. I thought that was going to be a lot worse than it actually was. That sting didn't really hurt that much. Few of the 1,000 species of scorpions are really dangerous. And fortunately for me, the striped-tailed scorpion was not one of those dangerous ones. It's a Category 1 in the Schmidt Pain Index of 1 to 4. There is a logic to this torture. Silly as that may be, but it helps scientists understand why insects have stings and venom. Schmidt has found that Category 1 animals, like many scorpions, tend to be solitary hunters. They use their venom to kill or paralyze insects. In fact, many stinging insects can actually control how much venom they inject, using just a little bit to give a warning or a lot to kill. That's why stings can vary so much in intensity. In a pain index of 2 and above, we find the nastiest stings. And that includes bees, ants, and wasps. They're all social, and they use their venom and stings for defense. And as a group, they represent the most successful group of insects on the planet. I guess I could maybe move up to the next pain category. Now these little ladies are notorious in the bug world. They've got the most potent venom known in all insects. A dozen stings can kill a 4-pound rat, and on a scale of 1 to 4, it's only 3 in the pain index. They're harvester ants, and they live in the hottest desert in North America, the Sonoran. The harvesters spend most of their time gathering fruits and seeds, but when the colony is under attack, they have a savage way of fighting back. On a scale of 1 to 4, these little ladies are a pain index of 3. Let's do it, Justin. What's this likely going to be?
It'll start off as a 1,
Yeah.
but then it'll quickly turn to a 3, which will be kind of pulling and tearing, a deep internal pain.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. We got pay dirt. You can see it stinging me. Ouch. Whoa.
There, you can see she popped
Well,
out.
okay. What I am feeling is pretty amazing. I can feel all the tissue cramping, pulling. I see what you mean about the sinews. Oh, I can feel it spreading. Almost certainly that venom evolved to protect the ant nest against vertebrate predators.
No predator wants to be damaged, and so a predator must listen to pain as a warning of potential damage. And that's exactly what the harvester ant has done very effectively here.
20 minutes later, and the pain in my arm is still increasing. You can see, ow, that really does hurt. A single sting by that harvester ant, yeah, it's painful. However, the bite of this spider, the black widow, is a very different matter. The bite is on the pain index of 4, and it produces one of the most painful experiences known to humans in the world. Its venom is 15 times more powerful than a rattlesnake's, and each year, more than 2,000 bites are reported in the U.S. And the reason there's such a problem is black widows like dark, warm places, which is why they so frequently come into contact with people. And one chose the house of Deanne Spalding and her 8-month-old twins, Kalia and Caleb.
It was a normal day for a mother with twins, which means you don't get much done in the morning, but I got a chance to sit down and have my breakfast.
A black widow carries only a small reservoir of venom, but it can pack a powerful and sometimes lethal punch. Deanne brought Kalia here to the Loma Linda Medical Center, where she was seen by Dr. Sean Bush. This footage was shot at the time.
What happened is she was crawling around, and then I heard her
Black widow bites can cause cramping and intense pain. It's been 40 minutes since Kalia was bitten.
By looking at her, I could tell that she was having a lot of pain in her abdomen. In kids, if they have so much cramping that they're not breathing adequately, then that can turn into a life-threatening emergency. So that's what she was on the verge of before we stopped the venom in its tracks and gave her anti-venom.
And it was just the most amazing thing. Within about 10 minutes of administering the anti-venom, she had calmed down.
My next mission is somewhat more pleasant. I'm off to Venezuela in search of giants. Most people think of bugs as scary, but to a bug fanatic like me, it doesn't get any better than here.
This is bug heaven, the Amazon rainforest. More species live here than anywhere else in the world. And we're going to where the giants of the bug world live.
When you're hunting bugs, you look in depressions, you look everywhere, because they're everywhere. Never know what you're gonna find. One of the giants I've heard about is rumored to grow as long as your arm, and it packs a nasty bite. It's the giant centipede, and it's most active when it's out hunting in the late afternoon. Whoa. I've just seen something that is very exciting. You can see its legs. Gotta figure out where the head end is. Head looks like it might be down here. These things can be really fast. Okay, friend. What we have here is Scolopendron, the giant centipede. And this is a very powerful animal. That's a serious amount of biting power. The mandibles are modified legs that are hollowed like a hypodermic needle, and at the base of them, there's a big poison sac. And the bite being very painful and prone to tissue damage. Although we know, look at that. I could let these forceps go, and it's holding those things together. Well, I'm gonna try to let this thing go and let it get off to its giant centipedely duties. But before I do that, I am going to let it run up the arm of the cameraman. A little nervous, Paul? This is one of the biggest cockroaches in the world, but it's no match for the giant centipede. Giant centipedes are really aggressive hunters. With one bite from those venomous fangs, the cockroach is paralyzed and eaten alive. I put out this light because what I hope to do is attract some giant beetles. And if we're really lucky and they come in, seriously, you have to be careful because they're not small beetles or medium-sized beetles. These are giant beetles. Like soup cans with wings that don't fly really well. So be careful, Paul. I mean, we don't want to lose another cameraman, okay? You've got to love bugs, you know? I mean, look at that. All these toys to play with, all these things, each has its own story. Being able to be an entomologist is to be set free in God's shopping mall. Drawn to the light, we find moths in love. Love is in the air. I've been here for a few hours and no beetles yet, but waiting's part of the game. But unfortunately, there are no giant beetles flying tonight. It's 4 a.m. and I've been stood up. If you're disappointed, so am I. Bug chasing is, well, it's up to the bugs. But out there somewhere is an even bigger prize. A spider so huge, it can cover a dinner plate. And it's not just any spider. I'm on the trail of the giant tarantula. Out there, deep in the heart of Venezuela, the giant tarantula is legendary. And to find it, we need the help of the local Pierrot Indians. It's the largest of all venomous spiders, and it's found nowhere else on Earth. With fangs almost an inch long and an armory of defensive missiles, this giant is going to be no pushover.
Felipe, encontramos una.
Ah, yeah. Classic burrow. Very large burrow, as a matter of fact. I hope we're gonna get one.
And the way we're gonna catch it is Pierrot style, by duping the spider into thinking there's a meal out here.
Amazing. Look at that. This guy's good. Oh, look at the size of that. Amazing. You ever seen a spider that big? I have. So after a couple hours walking around sweating, the search for the giant tarantula has paid off. It's true. This is a fairly small one. They can get with the carapace that big, right? So if you pan down and look at that, you can see that that animal is a teenager. Mind you, a fairly large teenager. It's flicking. You see the flicking on its legs? It's flicking its legs, and I can feel those hairs in the air. My skin is getting a little bit irritated. You see the hairs all over the back? In a defensive move, this animal will flick its hind legs on the abdomen and release all these hairs. If they get in your eyes or in your lungs, it provides a super irritant. Look at that. Wow. Look at the size of those fangs. What an amazing animal, huh?
What you're about to see is not for everyone. You may find it disturbing. My next mission is to find the grossest bugs in the world. And it starts here in the Big Apple.
New York. One of the most diverse places in the world. But underneath, it gets even better.
We're heading underground to meet a bug that Americans spend billions every year trying to eradicate. And it's so repulsive, it can live without its head for 2 weeks.
I'm in a tunnel under Gotham City, and I'm here with an expert in pest control, Ed DeFreitas. Ed, in your experience as king of the roach, where have you experienced the highest number of roaches?
In a tunnel, something like this, actually under a platform. And they were covering the walls, they were covering the ceiling, they were covering the floor where I was standing.
If we're gonna get up close and personal with them, we've got to turn the lights off. with night vision goggles. We can see them, but they can't see us. Good. Okay, we're gonna have to sit down and be pretty quiet. Roaches are incredibly sensitive to sound. They have tiny hairs on the back of them, which are so sensitive to vibrations.
They're often found in huge numbers in dark, damp places like this.
Roaches have a very special relationship with bacteria that live in their gut. And those bacteria allow a roach to digest just about anything. And if that isn't enough, a roach can live for a month without even eating.
But what really freaks people out is their ability to track dangerous pathogens around your kitchen, as some of us know, to our cost. And worse still, they can reproduce at a terrifying rate.
A single female cockroach, under perfect conditions,
can produce an extended family of well over 1 million in the course of a year. Inside her egg capsule, 25 baby cockroaches are waiting to emerge. It's the start of a new infestation.
And you know, what's interesting about cockroaches is that if they don't get enough to eat, well, they become cannibals. Although most people think these are the most disgusting things in the world, one thing is for certain. This is one of the most adaptable creatures on the planet, and they will be here much longer than we will.
While we leave Ed to terminate the roaches of New York, I'm off to find a creature that lives in the swamps of South America. In fact, I'm taking a bit of license here. This creature isn't a bug at all. It's the giant Amazonian leech. Normally, it feeds on the largest snake on Earth, the anaconda. Here to help me find one is Dr. Mark Siddle, an expert on Amazonian leeches.
So how big do these things get, by the way?
Probably up to 16 or 18 inches long when they're fully grown. We're going to use the traditional method, which involves just wading out there in our bare legs and letting them attach. Hope you're okay.
So there's caiman and anaconda here, huh?
I hope so. If there aren't, there won't be any leeches.
How nice.
They first feel the vibrations in the water. And, you know, maybe from 20, 30 meters away in an environment like this, where you've got a little bit of open water, then they'll actually come homing in, swimming towards you. You might even see them if you want in the water if you look carefully.
Nice.
Our presence had indeed been detected. And I couldn't feel a thing as it started checking out my leg to see if I was a suitable meal.
So, when these leeches are homing in on us like Scud missiles, does it hurt when it bites you?
No, you're not even going to feel it. In fact, it may have already been attached to your leg. What we do is check your legs every now and then to see if anybody's attached. But so far, I'm clear. How about you?
Hold on, you might have one on the back. No. Hey, clean. Clean.
Oh, I think I see something on your other leg.
You mean that leaf?
Well, it looks like a leaf. That's really what they look like to begin with.
Yeah, I feel a little faint right now.
Well, he's inserted a proboscis into your skin, and he's actually feeding on your blood. At the same time, he's actually dumping anticoagulants into your tissue.
If 10 of these were feeding on me, I'd be losing a pint every half hour. And given enough of them, I could be sucked dry.
So I'm just gonna roll out of here. And I've got a bag of blood on my leg. Bag of blood, bag of blood. So Mark, all this weight, all this weight is my blood. So what I want to know, to take a leech off, how do you do it?
Well, it's actually very simple.
And if you're faint-hearted, look away now.
Just apply some lateral pressure to the head end of the leech.
What Mark didn't tell me was that the leech had inserted all 3 inches of its proboscis into my leg.
Doesn't hurt at all, does it?
Doesn't hurt. I don't feel anything except that ant crawling on my leg.
Come on, just push sideways and he'll let go. There's his proboscis.
There's the proboscis. Look at that.
Full of blood.
Oh my God. Can you believe I do this for a living?
Withdraw it. And you're going to bleed, as I said, from those anticoagulants. When you take him away.
I bleed for you guys. I bleed for you guys.
This might look gory, but the anticoagulant that's causing my leg to bleed is really exciting the medical world. It's called Hementin, and incredibly, it can dissolve clotted blood. Gross as it may be, this bloodsucker could soon be saving the lives of stroke and heart attack victims. We've been incredibly lucky to find this giant Amazonian leech. It's pretty rare, so I'll leave it to digest my blood. And now, something to really make your skin crawl. Meet the bug that can live inside you, feeding on your flesh for weeks on end.
Hardly seems a place to look for one of the grossest creatures on the planet. But here in Brazil, there's a bug that looks at all this flesh as a fantastic opportunity. It's one of the most repulsive parasites ever to get under your skin.
It's called the botfly.
Looks like an ordinary housefly, doesn't it? But trust me, this is no ordinary fly. This is Dermatobia hominis, the human botfly. Its babies have an endearing habit of feeding on living human flesh. But to get there, to get under your skin, they need a little help. And I'm going to take this little beauty and give it a head start. I'm going to introduce her into a cage with some common houseflies. And the common housefly is one of at least 60 different kinds of insects that carry the eggs of the botfly. The bot will eventually choose amongst these houseflies and catch it in midair. And then she'll lay from 15 to 30 eggs on the belly of that fly, which has a glue that dries almost instantaneously. Did you see that? So the fly grabbed, the botfly grabbed one of these houseflies, and it's laid eggs on its belly. And what it'll do, yeah, there it goes, it releases the fly.
She will hijack some 16 helpers like this in her life. Everywhere it lands is a possible new home for its gruesome cargo. Now, are you ready to meet the world's grossest bug? My body heat should cause the botfly eggs to hatch within seconds.
I can see several larvae that have hatched from the eggs of this, and the maggots are trying to find a hair follicle, and they're moving down into my flesh.
Now, I'll do most things, but this is one gross bug that I don't want living inside me.
I'm gonna kill it with this alcohol here. That's it. You'll see why. Normally I'm not squeamish about insects, but, well, you'll see why I don't want this crawling around in my flesh.
How you doing, girl?
See all these little lumps here? What these are are bots, and they're a seething mass of wiggling maggots. This one here is probably perfectly ripe, and if I were to squeeze it, which I just might, you know, just to show you what it looks like and why I didn't want it in my arm.
And this is another look away moment if you're squeamish.
What'll happen is that the maggot will come out of there when it's mature and fall to the ground. And there it'll make a pupa in the soil.
After several weeks, the adult will emerge and the botfly's amazing life cycle will begin again.
Bloody. Ouch, it's biting. That's pretty ugly and revolting thing. Imagine having all of those in your skin, or in my skin. You know, I get this distinct feeling that you don't like being my assistant. In reality, the holes that botflies can make in cattle
Cause millions and millions of dollars
worth of damage in the hide trade in South America.
No doubt about it. As far as I'm concerned, this is definitely the most disgusting insect on Earth. But the damage they inflict is small compared to the world's worst swarm. When it comes to bugs, few sights are more impressive than this. For sheer destruction, nothing beats these guys. They can travel hundreds of miles a day and cover 150 square miles or more. In one terrible binge, they can destroy the livelihood of 1/10 of the world's human population. But locusts only swarm under certain conditions. And for years, scientists have wondered why. Here at Oxford University in England, experts are trying to figure out what makes this shy grasshopper turn into a monster. And here's the secret. When locust numbers increase, something switches in this bug's brain that says swarm. See this area on the hind leg? All it takes to tweak this individual into swarm mode is for me to rub its leg for 5 seconds every minute for the next 4 hours. Essentially, I'm recreating what happens in the wild. When locust numbers increase and food sources dwindle, it forces solitary locusts to come together, be social, and rub up against each other. And when that happens, these special hairs on its leg get touched. They signal to the locust brain, overcrowding, overcrowding, and it's like flipping a switch. Over the coming weeks, it will molt 5 times, change color and shape, and become social, very social.
And when locusts swarm, there can be millions of them. This individual is part of a giant eating machine. It's given up the solitary life to join a vast society of locusts.
1988 was the last time the world witnessed a locust plague of biblical proportions. Sweeping through 20 African countries, they destroyed everything in their path. It started in the southern region of the Sahel. Then the locusts rapidly spread east to Morocco and Tunisia. They caused staggering levels of damage, affecting millions already suffering famine from years of drought. Next, the swarm swept through Sudan, heading for Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and onto Iran. Today, desert locust levels remain low. But the problem is considered so serious that centers around the world must constantly monitor their numbers. In 1956, a Brazilian plan to breed a more productive honeybee went horribly wrong. European bees were crossbred with highly aggressive African bees. A year later, 26 colonies escaped, and they began spreading north at a rate of more than 200 miles a year. Estimates of how many people they've killed range from a few dozen to more than 1,000. I'm here with the bee master, Dr. Steve Tanis, who's Arizona's expert on Africanized bees. He's located a colony up in these rock outcrops there, and we're going to go have a look at them.
Let me help you here. Make sure that there's no holes there so the bees can't get in and bother you, because your face is where they'll come first.
Killer bees are monster reproducers. Give a colony of European bees a year, and if it's lucky, it might become 3 colonies.
Studies have shown that if you have Africanized bees and you give them the same conditions, that one colony will turn into 30 to 33 colonies.
The Africanized honeybee looks exactly like its cousin, the ordinary honeybee. But there's a very large difference. And in defending their colonies, they dispense with all formalities. Some studies have shown they will attack and sting in less than a second, whereas a normal honeybee takes about 9 seconds to do that. The Africanized honeybee will chase a moving target, quite literally half a mile, whereas normal honeybees may get onto, say, 100 feet, if that. And when you're attacked by killer bees, the consequences can be very tragic. It was a hot summer's day when Cheryl McLean and her boyfriend Ted Richards decided to clear their garden shed in Cochise County, Arizona. The bees living in the roof had been there for a long time. They'd never been a problem. And to Cheryl and Ted, they looked exactly like a hive of ordinary bees.
When I came back out of the shed, it sounded like a freight train was coming. I went over to help her, to protect her. I was swarmed by bees. I got her up on her feet. We ran to the front porch of our trailer, which was about 100 feet.
A violent, inbred rage had taken over. The sting of the Africanized honeybee is the same as other bees. They're just far more likely to attack.
I grabbed a water hose, and she grabbed a water hose, started spraying each other off and ourselves off, try to get rid of the bees.
But the water was no deterrent. Cheryl's father, Mac, heard the screams.
Ted yelled and said, "We're being attacked by bees, call 911. And they were all around the house. They were trying to get in the windows, and they just never gave up.
Cheryl had now been stung more than 100 times.
The last words Cheryl told me before she closed her eyes was, "I love you, Ted." She closed her eyes. She collapsed. I was holding her.
The bee venom sent Cheryl's body into anaphylactic shock. She died minutes later from a massive allergic reaction to the venom.
Great loss to us, a great loss. I never imagined that a beast could be that aggressive, but they killed. They killed, and they killed for no reason. What was the reason?
The answer is they probably thought their nest was under attack. When Africanized bees feel threatened, the slightest vibration, movement, even a strange smell can provoke them. Killer bee attacks are rare in the United States, and although a swarm of bees is a terrifying sight, there's another bug that's infinitely worse. I saved the best for last. My search for the ultimate bug ends here in Japan. Just the sight of this insect strikes fear in the hearts of the people who live here. It's a killer whose venom can dissolve flesh, and it's called the giant hornet. And I've come to Japan to find these hornets, and at 5 times the size of a honeybee, they're not only the world's largest hornets, they're one of the most aggressive. And they're notorious here in Japan, killing nearly 40 people per year. Now I'm heading just outside of Tokyo to find them.
So I'm here with the world's expert on giant hornets, Masato Ono. Have you ever been stung?
Yes, I did. I did.
What'd it feel like?
It's so painful, like a hot nail being driven into my skin.
A hot nail. Yeah, sounds great. We have a medical doctor standing by. We have a hospital on call. We have EpiPens, injections. If I get stung, immediately I'll drive a shot into my leg like a hot nail, and that will reduce the danger of me having a bad anaphylactic shock, which is the real killer. And without medical treatment and the adrenaline injection, I could, how they say, die. Masato has found us a nest of some 200 workers, and knowing what just one of them can do, I'm feeling seriously nervous. Where is it? Holy smokes, these things are big. I'm looking down the nest. Everything inside of me is telling me not to do this. Just look at that thing. Patrolling the nest entrance are 2 guards. Oh, look at that, marking me. See, she's going straight for my eyes. If I didn't have this visor on, they'd be spraying me in the eyes, and I would certainly be blinded. Whoa. I can hear the sound. That's the warning. Stay away. Stay away. Ooh. See her? Ah! Scary stuff. She's spraying. She's spraying venom. I can smell the venom. Their venom contains a powerful alarm scent, a pheromone that calls the rest of the workers to arms. And within seconds, we should start to see a lot more hornets coming to defend their nest. Look at there. Whoa, there she's stinging me. She's stinging me. See the sting is stuck? The venom of the sting in these giant hornets, it's composed of 11 chemicals, all which are nasty. There are chemicals that dissolve flesh. There are pain-inducing chemicals. What these workers are defending is their colony's future. Inside the nest is their queen and the next year's generation of young hornets. Over the summer, the queen produced thousands of eggs, which developed into these female worker hornets. Their job is to feed and protect the next generation of developing larvae. The brood's appetite is huge, keeping the workers on an endless hunt for food. Luckily for us, most of this colony's workers are miles away.
When they find a colony of bees, it can be a massacre. In just 3 hours, 30 hornets can decimate 30,000 bees. Their prize? The bees' larvae and pupae, which they'll feed to their own young back at the nest.
We've got, I would say, 50 to 60 of these hornets surrounding me. Masato, let's go, okay? I think we've seen enough.
Bugs have been around for millions of years. Pollinating, fertilizing, recycling. They make our planet run. Some of them may give us nightmares, it's true, but you gotta hand it to them, bugs are pretty fantastic. And to someone like me, a bug fanatic, well, there's no sewer too dark, no swamp too dangerous, no sting too painful. If it brings me face to face with one more incredible bug.